Detroit Pistons select Luke Kennard from Duke University. The Utah Jazz select Darius Baisley from Cincinnati, Ohio.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Triple Double Podcast. Hope you guys had a good new year. Happy to be back with you guys in 2020. My name's Corey Albertson, your host as always of Triple Double Prospects. Jason Morrow from 270 Hoops is on again as our producer. And our guest today is Coach Pat Goedde. Coach, what's going on?
Not much. Just trying to get everything ready for on Friday night.
Absolutely. It's that type of year where the Friday nights are really important when you guys enter your league play. So Coach Pat Goedde is in his third year as the head coach at Cincinnati LaSalle High School. His Lancers are currently ranked number 6 in the Ohio AP poll, undefeated record of 10-0. And just because it's his third year, it is not his third year at LaSalle. Prior to taking over the head coaching job, Coach Goedde was an assistant at LaSalle for 26 years under Lancers head coach Dan Fleming. Team won the state title in 1996 and 2011, which is the first year I went to the state tournament as a scout. And Coach, I wanted to start off with this. When you were named the head coach at LaSalle, I was kind of doing some research yesterday, and I found an article that said when you took the job, the head coaching job, you were 45 years old, and you'd been a part of the LaSalle community for 40 of those years.
Correct. I mean, it was a big special moment for me and my family. If you only knew how much was invested into the program as a fan, as a player, and now as a coach, my whole family invests everything into this, and it's kind of crazy, but it's good. As a little kid walking in the gym, I thought one day I would be the head coach of LaSalle High School, and it's like a dream come true to me.
There's nothing like, in terms of, for people who follow coaching or, business as well, there's just nothing like somebody landing their dream job, as an athletic director, having somebody who, as long as they've got this job, they're not going to be out looking for another job. They're always going to be trying to make this place a better place than it is. And that's, exactly what you've got there in LaSalle is that, you want this thing to be where it was, the Katie era, the Hep Cronin era, the Dan Fleming era, and now the Pat Goedde area.
Yeah. And it's a really fortunate thing. If you really look at all of the GCL South schools, usually there's only been about 4 coaches. Like, if you really look at it, and I'm the 4th coach, and you look at Elder, it's so hard and it's so prestigious to be a coach in one of these GCL South schools that, it takes a long time, a lot of work, a lot of time away from the family, a lot of time away from anything, and just concentrate on basketball. And it's just really, really, a proud moment for me to say, I am the head coach of LaSalle High School, and it takes a lot of people to do it. We have great assistant coaches. We've had great players, and we got great players now. It takes a lot of things to work this job, and people believing in you and trusting in you to take the keys, so to speak, of a program and try to make it better than it was in the past, which is hard to do.
Well, a lot of people don't remember 2011. You guys won Division I state championship, and Coach Fleming, has a heart condition after the district final against Cincinnati Aiken. He's got to miss the next 3 or so games, and you take over for those few games, and eventually you guys win the state title. And you've been an assistant there for 26 years. Obviously, during those 26 years, with all the time, all the games you guys won, you had opportunities, I'm sure, where you could have been the head coach at XYZ school in Cincinnati or somewhere in the near area. What kind of led you to the decision, no, I'm going to stay and wait it out here?
Because I believe Lancer Red. I mean, I do, and it's a part of my life. I grew up like maybe 4 miles away from the school, if that. My family, my kids want to go there. My uncles and aunts and brothers and sisters, they're all a part of it too. And we've had my nephews go through there. It's just a part of our life. So it was an easy fix for everyone. You know what I mean? So, it's a pretty special place for me.
I mean, and then that part of, Cincinnati coaching is just something you do. If you love basketball, when you get out of it, you instead of chasing other, professional avenues, coaching is something big. Chris Mack grew up, obviously a St. X guy in that area. Pat Kelsey grew up in somewhere near that area as an elder guy. And then, doing some research yesterday, I see that you were only one class removed at LaSalle from somebody I worked for, which is, you grew up with Coach Cronin.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all four of the guys you just mentioned, they played for my dad, North St. Cassidy basketball back in the day, and I have a relationship with all four of them. I mean, at one time we were really close. Now it's just texting, and we all kind of stay in that same kind of realm where we talk to one another and find out how everybody's doing, and it's kind of special that I grew up with the guy. I mean, we hung out every single day until the day we went to college and stuff like that. We moved on to different things, and he went to Woodward and I went to LaSalle to coach, and then he went on the college coaching ranks, and I said I wanted to stay home and just be the head coach at LaSalle High School, and I did whatever it took to be that, and Mick went the other way. And somebody's like, well, wouldn't you want to be Mick? And I'm like, no, I don't want to be Mick. I definitely don't want to be Mick. I just want to be Pat at LaSalle High School and take care of what I can take care of at LaSalle High School. And to me, because I'm a community guy, I want to make the community better, and I think I can do that by coaching kids that are in our community where I live.
Absolutely. Now, with the coaching, when you talk about LaSalle and, it was your dream job and you waited forever and you finally got your opportunity when, Coach Flem steps down. But then as soon as you get the job, you're kind of hit with a major blow in that for as happy as you are to be there, Coach Flem retires when his son CJ graduates, when a number of other really good players that were in CJ's class, they graduate, and now you're kind of looking at a varsity team that is void of experience. And I can't speak to the talent, but they were void of experience. So, what was the challenge in getting there and finally having that opportunity? But, I don't want to use the word rebuild because they're coming off a regional final appearance, but certainly reload.
Yeah, I mean, but all that said, I mean, we had a Riley Hobner, we had a Henry Loudon, and we had a Quinn Ely, the three seniors that were there for 3 years, and then I took over, and I give a lot of credit to them because they believed in me, and they kind of set the tone for me. Everybody counted us out that first year, and we ended up winning 15 games and had a chance to beat Lakota East team that was really good in the sectional finals, and we just came up a little short, and it was kind of neat to have. We had the Player of the Year the first year. You know how hard it is to get the Player of the Year in the GCL, and the first year, Riley Hotner right out of the chute, what we tried to do as a coaching staff is play a little bit faster and score a little bit more, which we didn't get to until our third year, where we could really have enough guys to do what we're trying to do now. So, I mean, and don't get me wrong, last year was one of them years that we had to just fight through it. We had chances to win. We just didn't find a way to win. We came up with 12 wins. So, and sometimes when you take over something, whether you've been there for years or not, you got to put your system into play. And to be realistic, and you've been around basketball to know this, it takes a good 3 to 4 years to get things rolling the way you want it to be. Put your touch on the stuff. And you've been around it and you've seen us. The biggest thing is we have to play defense, but we were trying to speed everything up on offense a little bit.
When you look at the changeover, obviously you said you want to play faster. Maybe you want to shoot more threes. Maybe you want to do whatever different from what Coach Flem did. But at the end of the day, when you talked about defense, you talked about program building, and I told you before the podcast that we were going to talk about some of the things that I think are synonymous with LaSalle basketball, whether you're the head coach or Flem's the head coach or somebody else is, which is some of the kind of toughness and program building things. And those are the things you obviously, maybe want to retool some of the vocabulary, but not change. So I think one of the things when I think about LaSalle and that 2011 state title team, as a neutral fan, is still a team that it means a lot to me because it was just so fun my first year getting to see a team win a state title. And the motto for LaSalle to me is you guys are somebody who can do more with less. And, that team had talent, of course. But when you go and you play Columbus Northland in the state title game, they've got 2 6'8" guys that end up in high major Division Ones. They've got a future NBA point guard in Trey Burke. And you guys find a way not only to win, but, to win by 15-plus points. So, you guys, even when the talent cupboard is a little bare at LaSalle, you guys find ways to get it done, and that's something I'm sure you don't want to change.
No, that doesn't change. But the thing that has been constant with our kids is they believe and they trust what the coaching staff's going to tell them to do. For instance, we're working on Moeller this week. Our guys' attention to detail, the scouting report, which you would know because you were at the state game. We didn't want Trey Burke to score. We honestly, we didn't want him to get any open looks. And anytime he was coming off screens, and you'll remember this, they ran a lot of high ball screens. He didn't get off. He couldn't get off of the screen because we had guys that would commit to each other and our plan. And that will not change. Our guys are committed to each other, and the plan that we're trying to take out there as our scouting report on a player. We didn't want Trey Burke to come off them high ball screens, and you have a Trey Casey, and you have a Josh Lemons, and I can keep going on, and you have a Woosty, and you have a Brian Neal, and the key was Ryan. Ryan was a key because he had another coach out on the floor. It's just neat to have guys that really care about the front of the jersey, and that will never change. And if you noticed this year, we have a different leading scorer every game. And that's kind of what happened when we won the state in 2011. We had guys, it didn't matter who it was. They didn't care who was the leading scorer. They cared about the end-all, be-all first stat that everybody should worry about is the win or the loss. So they worried about one stat, and it was the W. And it showed every single night that we were out on the floor, and that's what we're trying to pride ourselves on. It doesn't matter who's the man. It doesn't matter who's this. It's LaSalle, and let's find a way to get the W.
And another, with that approach, and I agree that Ryan Fleming certainly had that approach, and he might have been the most important player on that team, even though he was probably the 4th leading scorer on most games that I saw. But
he had 9 points a game. 9 points a game. He really didn't contribute that way in stats, but it was things behind the scenes and during the game he handled for me and Coach Fleming.
Absolutely. And one thing I remember talking to him, before the state championship game, back when I was doing the Cincy Prep Hoops Report thing, and we did a little video, and he pretty much told me that, at LaSalle, the way to be cool in terms of just in the school is playing basketball. Obviously, you get a lot of notoriety, and the cool kids, quote unquote, at LaSalle are the kids that play hard. And the people who walk around like they're too good to be there at LaSalle, that's not an approach that's allowed.
No, it's and that will not change. It's kind of workman mentality. Is like we're going to put on our work boots and we're going to go to work. We're gonna put our time in, and whatever that time is, and we're gonna try to outlast the opponent, whoever that opponent is. And we've been blessed that we really never had to worry about the opponent, other than a little bit of the scouting report. We worry about us, so we could take care of us during that time, instead of, hey, we're worried about that team so much that we don't take care of us. And that's been our approach. Like, we need to take care of each other. If we take care of each other, the opponent doesn't matter.
And in doing that, another memory that I wrote down is seeing CJ Fleming. I was at an early season game, and it wasn't as crowded as normal. And I remember somebody taking a bad shot, and CJ Fleming, as a player, telling him, listen, your role for our team is not to shoot the ball. Your role for our team is to rebound the ball. And I remember all the other kids were immediately like, yeah, CJ's right. And, you talked about worrying about us. And I think one of the things you guys have had success with over the years is, getting kids to understand whether they're a football player helping the basketball team, whether they're a basketball role player or a basketball star, understanding, here's your role in this year's LaSalle team.
Yeah, and I'll give you a prime example of our team. I'll give you two guys that are that kind of guy. Zach Brenham, who's probably one of the best quarterbacks of the year in the city of Cincinnati, and he really did a heck of a job carrying that team. They were 4-5 last year, and they go out and win a state title this year, and I think he was the key. Now, he's one of them type of guys that comes to our practice every day and battles, and he might not even score, not 1 point, but he'll do things that people don't see within the practice, within the game, that, doesn't go on a stat sheet, and people can't see it unless you're around the team, and he's one, and we have another kid by the name of Mike Werthers is another that, yeah, he'll get rebounds, but the other things that you don't get to see. That's the key. And we have another football guy who everybody thinks he's, the best running back, blah, 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 so on and so forth. He is, don't get me wrong. But Cam Porter's another guy. He hasn't played a minute, and he's there at every practice. He's, an extra coach and extra guy, a residential psychologist that talks to the kids, and he's just another guy that you don't see in the stat sheets. You wouldn't know who he is unless you watch football, and he's there every day trying to talk because he's got a broken hand right now, and he's there talking to our kids, and he's there, and it just helps to have guys like that know the role, like you're talking about.
Well, you mentioned the football program, and that brings me to something I wanted to ask you about. It's an issue for all the GCL schools, which is, sometimes you're going to have guys miss an early season due to football, but, all four of you guys play extremely good football and have won a lot of games. And, LaSalle, I'm sure you can tell me the exact statistics, but they've won a hell of a lot of games the last few years and multiple state titles. Kids like the Larkin kids that played there and played both sports, but, well, I know Jeremy played both sports, but talk about, talk about what the, the emergence of the LaSalle football program over the last few years. How has that impacted the basketball program?
Well, here's the deal. And at a school like ours, me and Pat McLaughlin have a really good working relationship. You need to, if you're going to do that. I mean, if you're going to win in football, and you're going to be like, hey, you don't get any of our guys, and you don't get to work with them, and they don't get to come around in the summertime when we're having workouts. That's not how it works at LaSalle. To be at LaSalle, to be a really good athlete, you're going to have to play multi-sports. You're going to have to do the things. You're going to have to show up for 10 days for basketball. Whether we have, a scrimmage or whatever, and yada, 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 and we shoot in the morning, and we utilize our 10 days. So our guys show up for that. And then we don't mess with them when end of July hits, or right in that middle of July when they start doing a little bit of 7-on-7 and then they have their 10 days. I don't talk to them. I stay away from them, and Pat stays away from our guys. So it's kind of a good mixture with me and Coach McLaughlin. We work together. We talk to each other like, hey, make sure this, that, whatever. And it's a good working relationship. If we didn't have that, it would be hard to be the basketball coach. It just would be. So it's worked out very, very well. Our kids understand that we need them just as much as football needs them, and we got to share athletes.
Well, you talk about sharing athletes. I think that's important because, for the resources you guys have at LaSalle, and, they're ample, most schools would be happy to have them. But when you look at the league or your division being St. Xavier, Moeller, Elder, you guys have, by a decent margin, I believe, the smallest enrollment. And because of that, competing, you're going to have to, right. So you're going to have to share resources. You're going to have to get multi-sport kids. And, that seems like an expectation at LaSalle. It seems like that kind of brings more of that toughness to the program. And, when you look at the GCL schools in general, and Elder has a little bit of this feel as well, but LaSalle, and this isn't taking anything away from X or Moeller, but LaSalle has such a blue collar feel when you walk in that building.
It does. And I know nowadays people won't appreciate it, but I do, because I've been there for so long. The school's been open for like 59 years. And when I walk into the gym, that's like my sanctuary. And I can't explain it other than that. People are like, oh, you need a new gym. We probably do. But the wins and losses, like, I'll tell you this, back in '88, Dan Cronin was a senior. They beat St. X, and St. X had Chris Mack on the team. And I'll always remember this after the game. Dan Cronin was hanging from that rim. Them are memories that you can never get in a new gym. You have to start your new memories. And it's kind of a sacred place for me. Like, people would be like, oh, it's just this, it's tiny, it's that. It's beautiful to me. I mean, there's a lot of wins. There's been, Justin Orr hit a 3 to beat Moeller when they were number 1 team in the state, maybe in the country at the time, when they were loaded with Duncan and I can't even think all the guys that were on the team, but Duncan was on the team and he hit a 3, towards the buzzer to win the game. And we've had all kinds of victories there, and that holds a special place in my heart. And it's hard to people be like, well, yeah, them are all good, but you guys need a new gym. But it's one of them places that's unique to any other place in the country, and don't get me wrong, it's tiny and it's this and that, but man, we won a lot of games there. And it's not comfortable for other teams coming in there. So I enjoy it, how close the fans are. That's the way it's supposed to be in high school. It's not supposed to be a college game where everybody's so far away. So the enjoyment of it, and wins and enjoyment.
Yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to say, which is, for maybe having some older facilities, for maybe not having quite the resources of some other schools, I would argue that maybe body for body, LaSalle has not only the most fans, but the rowdiest fans at the game. And, it's maybe the most fun place to go to, when you guys are rolling, and especially it's better if it's a GCL opponent. You guys just have a great place to play, and it's very, very difficult to win there.
Yeah, it is. I'll be the first one to admit, it's not a friendly place. And everybody be like, well, it's a newer set of times and stuff. And our cheers, the cheering block, our Red Army, our fans that have been there for some of the guys that show up, it's like a Hall of Fame walk-in when we start. We'll have the Woosties of the world, we'll have the Phyllises of the world, and guys that have laid the roots for this program, that played in this gym when it was a tile floor, and things that people would never, ever know. I've been a part of it, and that's the special part. I mean, I've been a part of every win and loss. I've been a part of Bill Katie's part of his wins and losses when I was a freshman, and then Hep Cronin, and I've been a part of Dan Fleming's, all of them. No one can say that as a coach. Like, that's a pretty special thing. And seeing guys play from the early 80s to the late 70s all the way until now, I can do that. There ain't a lot of people that can do that, and that's why the place is so special to me. The brotherhood, the family atmosphere, everybody knows everybody. It's that part of the relationships that it's hard for anyone who's been planted there could ever leave. It's just one of them places, man. And Friday night, Bill Katie Court, 7:30 on a Friday night, it's a pretty special place. It'd be hard for me to get used to a new place. If somebody said, hey, we got, $3 million, we're going to build a gym for you, it'd be hard for me to pull away from it. We're like on our 6 GCL, 3 of the 6, I want to play in the old gym. You know what I mean? That's the type of person that I think about, because all the nostalgia and all the history and you can't take that and put it into a new gym. That would be hard for me.
Well, let's talk about the nostalgia and the history for a second, and that, what I want to kind of end this podcast towards is, people love to talk about that, and I think people around the state kind of go, oh, well, that's all well and good, but, what have you done for me lately? And obviously lately, Mueller's done a great job. They've, been the best program in the state of Ohio. But that being said, the GCL South as a whole is really back. I mean, you guys are ranked in the state. You're undefeated. Mueller's ranked number 1 in the state. Elder has a much improved team. X has had some turnover in the coaching ranks, but they seem to be turning a corner. So first talk, before we talk about the GCL South as a whole, you said you've really turned the corner with this year's team, with being able to score. You've got some seniors and juniors who can really play. So just talk a little bit about what this year's team is doing and is capable of.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, there was a meeting that I had when I was the first meeting I had, I met with the coaches and told them what we were doing. The second meeting I met with the players. The first meeting with the players that I had, I didn't meet with anybody except for the group that is the seniors. I met with all the sophomores. Nobody knew about this. I met with all the sophomores and their parents. And I knew going into the job we were going to have a tough 2 years. And I knew we were. I mean, we were just going to have to fight and scrap to the bitter end. We were going to have to do different things to win games that we'd never done in the past. And I knew if the sophomore group, because I've been there and I've seen them as freshmen, I knew we were going to have to, make as much as we can and develop this group as much as we can. And I hit them on the ground running. We had a meeting and said, hey, you guys are the team that's going to, create something that we've had in the past. And they all agreed, and parents were on board. And it was one of the meetings that you'll always remember, because after we left there, I knew I just needed a couple of years to get through to make sure that our guys would compete at a high level, which our guys did in the 2 years. But I knew once we got the senior group, I mean, that's a special group. We have 8 guys. They all show up. They all try to outwork each other. And that's the thing that we've been trying to create with this group. And then our junior group that is there, pretty special group. They all kind of like each other. They all try to work out together. They all do things together. And it's been that kind of chemistry that has been created with the sophomore group at the time when they were sophomores, now seniors. They kind of fell in love with each other, and the chemistry between this senior group and junior group has just been pretty special. That's the thing that I can tell you, that they really, really like each other and really, really like competing against each other. And that's what's special. And I can't single out one guy. They all really want to do better for each other, and they care about each other's success. And it's been kind of weird that, like one game, I'll just say, for instance, Derek hasn't been scoring, and Jay's been scoring, and nobody says anything. Then the next 3 games, Derek's scoring, and Jeff Queen's the next guy scoring, and then we'll get away from a couple games, and then you have Justin have a blowout game, or Justin Lovett has a blowout game, and all the other guys like Aiden just keeps getting rebounds, and Aiden Snyder, and then you got Big Mike getting rebounds, and it's just like a total, all I care about is us winning. What do we have to do to bring us together to win the game? And it's been pretty special these 10 games. I'll give you that. It's been really unique dealing with these guys, because they really care about each other. Win, lose, or draw, they really care. And nobody knows this, but we've had most of our workouts, whether it be summer workouts or lifting, we got 6 or 7 in the morning all the time. There's nobody blinks an eye. Everybody's like, okay, we'll be there. And we'll have 15 to 20 guys there. Just whatever it is, lifting. When we do our workouts where we have 4 guys, they'll all show up to watch each other do stuff. And it's really a special group because they care about each other. And that's been the key.
Well, the last thing I'll ask you is this then. Looking at what you guys have done, undefeated, number 6 in the state. You play Moeller Friday, they're number 1 in the state. We said Elders having a good year, X is getting there. What do you see going on as a whole in the GCL South over January, February, where you all play each other twice? I mean, what's the parity going to be like this year?
It's really special this year because, like you said, Elders really loaded. I know they had a couple, like 2 losses that, like one was in the beginning of the year when they didn't have all their football guys back. X just got a special group of guys that, like, every GCL team in the South has really good seniors, really good juniors, and then they have a sprinkle in a couple sophomores that, just add a little bit of icing to the cake. Every single team, you can go through all of them, and I'm telling you, every team is good. I think it's going to be every given night, any team could win. And me being me, I just hope that, the home team wins the game. Like, that will create what we created in the past. There was a lot of parity in the league. And I think you're going to see that because there's each team has something different that they bring to the table. And don't get me wrong, Muller's probably a little bit better than everybody else. They do have, 61 guys. And I'll tell you this because I know all the other coaches, St. X is working their tail off to be really good. So's Elder and so's us. So we're trying to, create the parity that's supposed to be in the GCL. And every team is working as hard as they can to get to that upper tier level. And it'll be back to normal. Hopefully all four of these teams, hopefully when we go to the tournament draw, it's, GCL South Team 1, GCL South Team 2, GCL South Team 3, GCL South Team 4. And hopefully we can get back to that because it used to be that way. And it'll be really special to make sure that, and I'm a big GCL guy, so the deal. It'd be really special to see all four of them teams back in, the dominance or, back to where we used to be, where we'd have them four teams, battling it out in a regional final or, a regional semifinal, which they're neat to see. Them games you cannot dream them up. You can't even predict them. They are just awesome to watch. But I'm biased. I know that. But, and don't get me wrong, because even in get away from GCL, the GMC's loaded with talent too. Loaded with talent. They got 4 or 5 teams that are really, really good. And I haven't seen all the teams, but there's some parity going on in there too. And, which is neat. That's what you want in the city, right? You want, 10, 12 teams battling it out. And any given night, one of them teams can win. That's what's special about Southwest Ohio basketball.
Well, absolutely, Coach, and looking forward to seeing your result from Friday as well as all these Friday night GCL games and everything that you have, left on your schedule. So want to thank you for taking the time. I know you're busy with a big game tomorrow, but thank you again. Good luck the rest of the way, and loved having you on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, and LaSalle High School appreciates what you do for basketball, and anytime, the deal, just call me up and let me know, and we'll sit down and have a chat.
All right, Coach. Well, that was Coach Pat Goedde of Cincinnati LaSalle High School. For Jason Morrow, I'm Corey Albertson. You listen to the Triple Double Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by PlayEasy.com. For players, coaches, or casual athletes looking to book a sports facility, as well as owners and managers of sports facilities, PlayEasy.com is the new one-stop site for streamlined services. If you're looking for a place to practice, play, host your tournament, camp, or other, simply go to PlayEasy.com and create a booking request for your area. Your request will go out to surrounding facilities who will respond with their best offer. Once you receive the offer that best fits your needs, book the facility and you're ready to play. For facility owners and managers, PlayEasy puts the power in your hands to maximize the usage and visibility of your facility. Register your facility for free today at PlayEasy.com. PlayEasy.com is the booking site built by athletes, coaches, and facility managers, and is proud to help bring you the Triple Double Podcast. This podcast is also brought to you by Anago Cleaning Systems. Are you tired of struggling in a dead-end job? If so, Anago Cleaning Systems has what you're looking for, an opportunity to go into business for yourself, but not by yourself. With franchising opportunities available for as little as a $2,500 down payment, purchasing an Anago franchise has never been easier. Once you own your Anago franchise, you're licensed to clean commercial facilities all around the greater Cincinnati, Dayton, or Columbus areas with the support of Anago's sales, quality control, operational, and accounting staff. Call 513-332-0033 today for your opportunity to be your own boss and grow your own commercial cleaning company under the guidance of Anago's proven and successful system. Again, call 513-332-0033 to learn more. With Anago, your future starts today.